It's the dawning, the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. Hey, Tumies. This is Psyche Bob. Just ignore me. I'm a little crazy today. Welcome to Zodiac Thursday, guys. I'm sorry I'm getting this out a little late. Psyche Bob's been having a very rough day. My throat and lungs were injured recently in a directed energy weapons attack. For those of you who know about targeted individuals, you might want to, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you're not familiar with that, definitely look up targeted individuals and directed energy weapons. I'm having a lot of lung problems, a lot of throat problems. I may have to go to a hospital. So I've been resting today. And anyways, I did want to come here because I love doing Zodiac Thursday. It really does make me feel better. So if you can bear with my voice, we'll see if we can get through this, okay? Anyways, I've been here looking at my Zodiac pin. Isn't this beautiful? This is one of my vintage Aquarius pendants. It's from the 1970s. I think it's really pretty. It's like frosted silver and shiny silver. And there's the water bearer pouring the water. Isn't that cool? It's sterling silver, and I just love it. And I wore it today also with my Aquarius shirt. Whenever I get to touch in on the Zodiac, it really is exciting for me. It truly lifts my spirits. So I am honored to be here with you. Well, I got a wonderful letter today, or well, actually yesterday, from a viewer. And her name is Darlene Weinbrenner. Hi, Darlene. And Darlene wrote to me a wonderful question. And she says, Dear Psychic Bob, what can you tell me about my daughter, Jacqueline? And she gives her birth date. And she says, and her boyfriend, Brandon. And she gives Brandon's birth date. And she says, anything you can tell me about them and their relationship would be wonderful. Well, Darlene, this is one of the wonderful parts of astrology because we can do what we call a comparative chart analysis. And in India, this is taken very seriously. Before people will get married, they actually have an astrologer consult. They consult an astrologer and they put the charts together. And if the charts are a bad mix, the marriage doesn't happen. And you know what? I don't think that's so crazy because I really find astrology to be very, very accurate. So that being said, we're going to do a comparative chart analysis today for your daughter, Jacqueline, and for Brandon. Now, I want to put up Jacqueline's chart first, and I'm going to go through that, and then I'll put up Brandon's. So here is Jacqueline's birth chart. Okay, so Jacqueline was born on October 23rd, 1988. This puts her sun in the sign of Scorpio, which is a water sign. This is a wonderful energy because it means that she's deeply in touch with her emotions. You see, I love that sign. And, I have to tell you, darling, when we go through somebody's birth charts, this can get very complex. So today, I've kept it very simple. I've just touched on a few major points because it would actually probably take me about 6 hours to go through each chart. So it'd be like 12 hours just to seriously look at this. So today I've narrowed it down to just some of the major factors. But I think they'll still give us a good insight here, okay? Now, one of the things we want to look at when we're looking at somebody is, of course, their sun sign, because their sun sign is who they are when they're born. That energy is very prominent. And she is a Scorpio, which is a water sign, definitely in touch with their emotions. Sometimes Scorpios have a little bit of conflict inside because they feel things so deeply that they get overly emotional. And this is interesting here because as I'm looking at some other areas around her chart, it definitely shows that she has some good balancing energies to an intense water sign like Scorpio. One of the things I wanted to look at with her is her first house. There are 12 houses in the Zodiac, and each house has a specific meaning. And today I'm going to look at the first house, which is the ascendant, the second house, which deals with finance, and the fifth house, which deals with love and relationships, okay? I think these three houses kind of give us a quick snapshot of where the energy lies, particularly in a relationship, okay? The first house is the ascendant, and the ascendant is how we project ourselves to the world. It's how we feel about ourselves and how we interface with the world. Her first house, her ascendant, is in the sign of Leo. This is a really great combination because as an emotional person, Leo means that she has performer qualities. She's a great communicator and can be out there and be seen and influence people. And what's interesting is I almost feel like she may at some point have been drawn to performing arts because sometimes I see this combination, Scorpio and Leo, and it can indicate that somebody who has a talent for deep expression. She might also find that she could do this, for example, in the area of writing as well. But she definitely has a strong communication element here. Occasionally there is a clash between a fire energy and a water energy, whereas that people can feel conflicted and sometimes they're struggling in how to express themselves. But I don't really see that around her. She has some other planets that are very balancing here. Her second house in the zodiac wheel deals with the house of finance. And money, to be straight up, is a practical thing. We have to think about how stable people are to go into a relationship that could even be a marriage, okay? And in her financial house, she has some wonderful, wonderful blessings here. She's got the planet Venus in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. And Venus means that she knows how to turn on the charm and influence people to make money. This also indicates an energy around her that she wants to pay attention to how she feels, particularly in career, because if she's not feeling it, she shouldn't do it, okay? The sign of Virgo means that she has a structured, methodical approach to things, and I feel like she's got her head on straight, as they say. So Venus in the sign of Virgo is a good aspect for the house of finance for her. Now, the other thing that's got me very excited here is that she has the planet Jupiter in her second house. I mean, that's like the best alignment you can have because Jupiter is the planet of prosperity, of abundance, of blessing. Now, her planet Jupiter falls within the sign of Gemini in the second house. Gemini is an air sign, and this means that she needs to focus on work where she gets to share ideas and communicate. She'd do very well, for example, as a teacher or as a trainer or as a salesperson where she can get out and promote ideas, and this will bring her a lot of prosperity, okay? So but she has to feel it. See, Venus in the sign of Virgo means that she can't just do something just for money. She has to believe in it, and her heart has to be in it. And if her heart's in it with that Gemini air energy and Jupiter, I'm telling you, she could make a lot of money here. So I feel like this is a good sign that the coming years for her will grow in the area of prosperity. So in terms of financial life around her, she will be stable, okay? Now, her fifth house, the fifth house going around the wheel, deals with relationships. Now, this is an interesting aspect because she has the planet Uranus in the sign of Sagittarius. And this is a little tricky, to be honest with you, because Uranus is the planet that brings chaos and irrationality many times. The other side of Uranus is that it's madness to the point of brilliance that brings success. And because she has it in Sagittarius, which is a fire sign, this means that from an emotional place, she may have to work on balance when she gets into relationships. Sagittarius tends to make her want to kind of view relationships as like a goal. I have to go out and meet this person and get this going. With Sagittarius in that means that she'll have success in kind of, in a sense, moving forward in relationships. But she has to balance that Uranian energy, that she does not get too up in her head. Uranus rules the house of Aquarius, which is a very mental sign. And so her challenge is going to be the head versus the heart. Like in her mind, she's going to look at relationships as like, gotta get it, it's got to be this way, boom, boom, boom. And with that Virgo energy in her financial house, she may also look at things on a monetary basis. But she wants to let the heart come in. Now, as a Scorpio, as a water sign, again, this is where she'll have a little conflict, because the deep emotions, when you combine that with Uranian energy and Sagittarius, she might struggle in feeling like, am I worthy of a relationship? And oh my God, does he like me? She wants to kind of slow down her thought process, because everything else around her chart shows that she has a lot of stability. And if she can let that stable energy be her guide rather than her impulsive energy, she'll have a really great time in relationships, okay? So, in terms of her overall sign, very powerful, going to be successful, needs to balance the heart and head and, work on that expression. That's going to be her path to success, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about Brandon, and then I'll talk about them together, okay? So we're going to move over to Brandon. And Brandon was born on September 1st, 1988. Let me put his chart up here. Okay. Now, Brandon is the boyfriend to Jacqueline. And what's nice about his chart is there shows a lot of stability around him here. He has his sun in Virgo. Now, Virgo is an earth sign. Virgos are very down-to-earth people. They're very practical. They're also very psychic as well. And I think for Brandon, a lot of times he gets psychic intuition, but he might blow it off or not pay attention to it. But he definitely is tuned into the cosmos. And so, Jacqueline, I would say to you that your boyfriend, Brandon, definitely listen to his insights, because it's like he gets stuff, he may not always understand it, but I feel like he gets insights that are very valuable and later on prove to be true, okay? Now, let's look at his first house. His first house is his ascendant. And the ascendant, again, to remind you, is how we project ourselves to the world and how we feel about ourselves. It's a very positive experience. Our ascendant is generally like our power in life. Now, his first house, his ascendant, is in the sign of Gemini, okay? And what this means is Gemini is an air sign, and this also means that he has the gifts of communication, he makes a great friend, and he's really good at partnerships. So Brandon is really what I would say, like in terms of dealing with the world, he's a very even-keeled person. He's a team player. Now, of course, the negative side of Gemini is sometimes when a Gemini gets riled up, they go to extremes. So, try to always keep Brandon in center and he'll be fine. But Gemini has that dual nature. That air sign can really run away and get crazy sometimes. So, it's interesting here because as an air sign also, it also means that that's also a psychic element. So he has a Virgo, which is a strong psychic element, and then an air Gemini ascendant, which is also very psychic. So definitely, again, pay attention to his inner leanings. His second house, which deals with finances, is very interesting because his second house falls in the sign of Cancer, which is a water sign. Now, as a water sign, this means that he gets gut instincts. And in terms of job, he really should trust his inner self. He may find that people around him have a different view in his 9-to-5 world of how things should run. And he may find sometimes he feels like he has to go against the grain and push his agenda. And he tends to feel things very passionately about work because he has Venus in the sign of Cancer. Venus means his heart is invested. Now remember also, as we said, Jacqueline has Venus in her second house as well. And her Venus is in the sign of Virgo. And Brandon's has Venus in the sign of Cancer. Sometimes when I see Venus in the sign of Cancer, that can indicate somebody who has a strong artistic leaning as well. So he may find that he does better in terms of work in working where he gets to be creative. He'd be very good, for example, at web development, where he gets to design web pages, or being an artist or a graphic artist. This is something that he would do very well with. And I feel like his second house, he wants to follow his heart, because if he's not into it, if he's just doing something for the money, he'll never make it. But his success comes through knowing how that Venus energy works and working with that Cancer energy. So very good. It's just interesting to me that both of you guys have Venus in your financial house, which means that both of you want to be passionate about your work and also be sensitive to each other when you're having a hard time, because when you have that Venus energy, sometimes you can be a little sensitive. And if, for example, if Brandon comes home one day and he's had a bad day at work, Jacqueline, you got to be especially careful that you don't push his buttons, okay? And Brandon likewise has to do the same, okay? But definitely very strong artistic vibration here, okay? I feel like he would do well to run his own business. I think his creative energy is really up there, okay? Now, his fifth house, which deals with love and relationships, his fifth house also falls in the sign of Cancer, which is a water sign. And this is really good because that water energy means that he's very in touch with his inner self. It means that he feels things very deeply and is actually much more sensitive than he may appear to the outer world. So Jacqueline, whenever y'all are having like a heated discussion, maybe a little argument, be very careful because your words will hit him very deeply, okay? Now his fifth house also has this planet of Pluto in it. Pluto is wonderful in the area of relationships because Pluto is the planet that governs having a long-distance view, a long-distance vision. And this indicates that he has a very strong tendency towards really looking at relationships, not as just some fleeting thing, but as something he wants to commit to. So in terms of like your relationship, if he should say to you, you know, I really want us to be a thing. I want us to really think about marriage. I really feel like we're going to be together for the next 20, 30 years, 50 years, 80 years, whatever. He's not just bluffing. He truly means it. And when he speaks about commitment with you, it truly comes from a deep place. See, that having that relationship in Cancers means that he has an integrity and an honesty in his emotional life. So it also indicates that he's very trustworthy. He's not out, you know, chasing women and being crazy. It's not his way. He couldn't be a womanizer if he wanted to because his heart wouldn't allow it. See, so that's a very good trait in him. And so when I look at both charts together here, I'm very pleased to say I think this is a very good match. And I do feel that as long as each of them understand how the other processes emotion, they'll avoid conflict. And they will have a very good positive interaction going forward. They each stow creativity and stability in finance. So that means that they're going to kind of, in a sense, be a power couple. Money will be at their command. They won't be somebody who begs for money. Money will always come to both of them. So again, that's definitely though connected to following your inspirations and your creativities. And as I said, Brandon, I really feel that the future for you, you should really think about having your own business. This is really where success is for you. And, you know, Jacqueline, it's interesting because if Brandon forms his own business, he'd do very well to have you as a business partner because with your Jupiter energy and being your finance in the house of Virgo, you'd keep things really on track financially. It'd be a really good mix to work together, okay? So anyways, guys, I hope that helps you. Darlene, I hope that gives a little insight to you about your daughter and her boyfriend. I think it looks very good, and I think the signs are there for a long-term stable connection, okay? Well, there you go. Anyways, well, guys, listen, I am so glad you're here. Listen, keep it here at Spiritual. We always have more coming. Tomorrow is UFO Friday. Depending on how Psychic Bob's feeling, I hopefully get that out to you. If my voice goes down, I may have to cancel it. I don't know. We'll see how things go. In the meantime, if you guys want to help Psychic Bob, first of all, pray for me. I need healing prayers. I would be so thankful for that. And if you like this video, like it, favorite it, share it with your friends, and hit subscribe. Be part of our scene here. Well, you guys are the best. I love you. We'll see you back here tomorrow for UFO Friday. I send you my blessings and my prayers for you as well. Blessed be.